I transformed Mr. Beast into a steampunk Wonka in Photoshop. It's been 9 months since I've done any kind of artwork, so it's time to blast off those cobwebs and attempt something truly demented. In this video I'm going to show you how I took a pic of Jimmy Donaldson, diced it up with a load of stock images in Photoshop and created this funky ass steampunk cyborg. Getting back into the driving seat wasn't all peaches and cream though guys. This quest was fraught with trials and tribulations. I had problems with my one functioning eye, received some good old fashioned YouTube trolling, did a complete U-turn with my art style, and of course the piece de resistance, my computer completely and utterly crapping out.
Fun and games, gentlemen.
Hey guys, welcome to the video. I'm Dean Sammer, the pro book cover artist from the UK, and you're tuned into photomanipulation.com. As a student of YouTube, I follow all the big dogs of the game and thought it would be cool to pay homage to the apex predator of the platform, the hero we deserve, Jimmy Donaldson, aka Mr. Beast. You see, I hate Disney content with a passion. I've got no time for Marvel, DC or Star Wars, and I don't play video games. We're an odd bunch here at PMHQ, and we're into horror, surrealism and all kinds of kooky stuff that never ranks well.
We are the weirdos, mister.
So how else am I going to do some trend jacking like the cool kids and get my channel pumping? Well, I'm good at cyborgs and love YouTube, so boom, it's a no-brainer. Let's marry the two and see how this one plays out.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
The process you see here is pretty much identical to my workflow as a pro freelancer, so lots to learn here alongside the shenanigans. Photo manipulation is basically collage on steroids, a scavenger's art form where we hunt out different elements and smash them together, usually because we can't draw for shit. This project has three main parts. 1. Getting the main stock images for the head, body and machine elements. 2. Cutting out those elements and rearranging them to create the character. 3. Blending and colouring those stocks so they look kind of believable. Sounds pretty simple on paper, getting there however could be a right pain in the ass. Mr. Beast's Chocolate Factory video was a big inspiration for this piece, and I couldn't help but laugh at Jimmy's haggard Wonka costume. Zero f*** given. As a fanboy of the Battle Angel Elite franchise, I wanted to splice up old Jimmy and create an Elite flavoured cyborg to create something wacky and left field, because why the hell not? First thing you gotta do is grab some images, create your artwork. We call them stocks in the game. I went onto Google Images, grab a usable shot of Mr. Beast, but I've got to warn you, this isn't what we usually do as freelancers or creative professionals. For commercial work we usually use licensed assets from stock sites such as Adobe stock and Neo stock, but I'll give you more info on that in a bit. As this is a work of parody, I can bend the rules a bit. It's not a commission piece or being sold in any way, so for entertainment purposes this will work okay. Here's some things you want to look out for when choosing your stocks. Bigger is usually better, and of course you want to make sure it's sharp and in focus. You can usually tell by eye if this stock image is usable or not. Almost every image on Google image search has been optimized for web, so that means these images are optimized for speed instead of quality. Not ideal for creating high quality digital art. With our illegally sourced Mr. Beast stock image, we can now grab a suitable body shot. This is preferably something that kind of matches the costume he wore in the Chocolate Factory video. For this bit I scored the images from Adobe stock. As a team we have a team subscription which gives us about 700 downloads a month. It's a far cry from my early freelancing days where I had to ration out 10 premium stock images for my commissions each month. The struggle was real, ladies and gentlemen. We're not sponsored by Adobe to say that. We use our team subscription for about 80% of our projects. We use it daily and love the freedom of not being restricted by lack of stock images. We're spoiled, I tell you, spoiled. Adobe stock for teams, link in the description if you want to check that out. Tooled up with the main stock assets, it's time to throw down some references so I can copy, steal or refer to when I'm creating the artwork. What you see here are mini mood boards, and this process is often called visual research in the creative industries. It's a common practice across the board, be it illustration, CG art, painting or photo manipulation. Pablo Picasso said it best, good artists borrow, great artists steal. Armed with our stocks, it's time to chop out the elements and start to pull together the character design. In the business, we call this compositing, also referred to as masking or background removal. I use the Photoshop pen tool for pretty much all compositing, even where it's not necessary. I do this because I'm old, stuck in my ways, and I fear change.
Get off my lawn.
There's faster and more effective ways to cut stuff out in Photoshop, but the pen tool is my go-to as it produces the cleanest results. Most people hate the pen tool as it's the slowest and most difficult tool to use in Photoshop, but I love to zone out using that bad boy. When you're doing head swaps, you want to be careful with the scale and positioning of the head in relation to the body. If you get this wrong, your artwork will end up looking like the dude out of Master of Disguise. Throw in the top hat and we're good to go. Now it's time to hunt out steampunk and cyborg elements. I want the finished creation to look like a character from the Battle Angel Elite film, so it's a case of figuring out what will work with the elements we've already got, while also getting the piece to look suitably steampunky. If you want to do projects like this but can't afford premium stocks, we've got you fam. We've put together an awesome banger of a stock bundle, 100 figures including CYBORG assets, and it's free to download.
It's a deal. It's a steal. It's sale of the f***ing century.
Don't get better than that, link in the description. We chop the arms from our Wonka body, remove the background from the robot arm elements, and start to splice the pieces together using selections of layer masks.
It's alive! It's alive!
We have full-length videos explaining every one of these techniques on the channel for free if you want to learn more. Now this is the real meat and bones of the saga, the part of the project where the real grunt work is done and we dive into the belly of the beast. What you're about to see took literal days of grind, so here's the cliff notes. Maestro, hit me with some BPM. I grabbed the yellow bow from Adobe stock, smacked out the background using pen tool and scaled the position using free transform. Our body stock blazer needed a more violet purple hue, so I used a good old fashioned hue and saturation adjustment layer to get it looking more like Mr. Beast's costume in the Chocolate Factory video. The chest cavity needed some steampunk detailing, so I grabbed a pre-cut stock image from my previous steampunk dragon project, threw it behind the laser and added some shadows with exposure adjustment layer. I chopped out some tubing from the robot render we used to create the arms and combined it with some pre-cut steam engine parts from the steampunk dragon project to flesh out the neck details. No Wonka piece is complete without the Hallowed golden ticket, so same moves as before, find suitable stocks, chop them out with a pen tool, scale and position, then add shadows with exposure adjustment layer. A load of wire details were added by dragging in pre-cut stocks on one of my older cyberpunk projects, free transformed into position and fleshed out with some shadow work. Mr. Beast is a turbo-powered content creator, so I wanted to incorporate cameras into the machinery. This was done by grabbing the stock I needed, smashing out the background with pen tool, positioned and duplicated to create a second shoulder-mounted camera. At this pivotal moment, my M1 Mac Mini started crapping out and locking up since I had the audacity to listen to music and edit a 1.4 gig Photoshop document at the same time. Don't listen to the tech influencers guys, they're lying. 8 gig of RAM is not enough cowbell to do this work. I don't care how good your integrated chip is. Regardless, I get myself a shiny new Mac Studio the day after and work resumes. I grab some machine parts from another CG render and place it behind a head cavity, create with a pen tool and then add shadows. To get the modern cameras to look more steampunky, I grabbed some vintage cog stock, knocked out the background and positioned on the cameras. More cogs and gears are added from various sources to add some flourishes and visual interest. I white out the eyes, create an otherworldly appearance for Mr. Beast. And then I relax. Not quite. My big idea for the final art was to pay homage to the classic Mr. Beast hypercolour thumbnail style, so I pulled together a suitably beast-like background and put a preview on the YouTube community tab. Let's just say the comments and feedback were less than kind. And to top things off, the one eye I've got that still works started twitching out, taking me out of action another day. All that pen tooling will f your eyes up, kids. Don't try this at home.
I have no depth perception!
What sounds like a negative fork in our journey, dear viewer, has actually turned out to be a positive. Given the feedback, I knew more had to be done to the piece, so I blew the cobwebs off the graphics tablet that I never use and set about adding some fine art details and a new background. The idea being we make the whole thing look less photographic looking and, as our helpful little troll said, fake looking. I'm going to be honest with you here guys, I'm not really one for colour, truth be told I'm a bit of a closet goth. But nothing trends harder on YouTube than hyper saturated colours and heavy rim lights. Not my skill set, not my bag, but we've come this far ladies and gentlemen, let's get this beast done. With my swanky new computer I do a rough overpaint with a smudge tool to smear out those sharp photographic edges. None of my prior systems could handle the smudge tool, so this process was actually pretty satisfying, not gonna lie. I threw in a new steampunk background, cleaned up some details and went ahead and attempted to do heavy rim lights, something I've never really done before. I got on the line to the fantasy rim lighting expert, the main man Christian Bensland, and he set me up with some brush presets, shout out to Christian, proper legend, and now I can finish the project that nearly crippled me. And you know what? I really like the final result. Of course there's going to be a whole bunch of people out there that dislike this artwork, but you know what? I'm cool with that. Art is subjective, bruv. I overcame technical hurdles, criticism and found a new art style I'm really interested in exploring more. So to me, that's a good day at the office. If you made it this far into the video, you're an absolute mad lad. I love you. Shout out in the comments what YouTuber you'd like to see me transform next, and if the stars are aligned, you'll see the next one in the series pop up here, so you should definitely go watch that. That's me out, like, subscribe and all that jazz. Peace.